An overlooked and extremely dark aspect to Saw is how he mentally tortures the young Jyn Erso to mold her into being a better partisan fighter. We talked before about how he wanted her to see stormtroopers and others as droids, mere cogs or tools to bring about their worldview. But it gets darker when he uses her love of her papa against her.
I watched her be killed by that man, and Papa works for him now? By all appearances, they're friends.
He goes above and beyond in purposely not attaching any nuance here. She was a little girl, and he was smart enough to know that there was some mystery here. That Galen wouldn't just be friends with the guy that murdered his wife and ripped him from his child. Saw was the one that helped the Ersos escape in the first place. He knew that at worst, Galen was just defeated and putting on a smile to stay alive, and could have reasoned that he was being tricked by Imperial reports claiming to have kidnapped his daughter. In his mind, he could just be working to keep Jyn alive. There were a ton of ways to explain why Galen seemed to be chumming it up with Krennic, but Saw uses this emotional breakdown by Jyn as an opening to pry her away from her old life, let that child die, and be reborn in the hidden cave fortress into a weapon of terror to use against the imps. And when rewatching this scene, I wondered if it was part of the coaching for this, because look at Saw's face as Galen says this, explaining his rationale for seeming to work with the Empire.
Played the part of a beaten man resigned to the sanctuary of his work. I made myself indispensable, and all the while, I laid the groundwork for my revenge.
This little side look really matches the longer details of the book, a sort of guilt in being exposed for going so hard on Galen. I seriously think Saw is a genius, you can say evil genius, but his ability to compare seemingly dissimilar things and extract a principle from it is shown off all the time. Steela showed him during the battles on Onderon that a weaker force could win by being willing to repurpose anything into a weapon, and Saw realized that this applies to emotions as well. The little girl's love for her papa could have turned her into a useless and defeated woman, but he was set to use her deep reserves of love as a fuel for her hatred. I think he was utterly confused by Galen seeming to work for the Empire as well, and could have thought that they were just lying about having Jyn captive. Saw could have easily known that he was trying to fight the Empire, but he knew that Jyn had to think that she was betrayed. Converting that deep love into deep rage and hatred would be the only path that could avenge her parents and keep her from wallowing in depression. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below.